Just rolling and we're going.
All right, we are hanging out with Jay and Mark Duplass. It's another party at Southwest with you guys, man. Seems like these are your people. This is like your ground zero.
Yeah, we lived in Austin. I lived here for 6 years. Jay lived here for over 10 years, and we kind of cut our teeth making independent films here, making really bad ones. Actually, that's what you do when you're in college. We just make movies. But Richard Linklater was our hero, and Robert Rodriguez, and that methodology of just pick up a camera and run a gun and do it is kind of how we got started.
Well, today's film was the Do-Deca-Pentathlon.
The Do-Deca-Pentathlon.
Oh,
Yeah,
see, Do-Deca.
You weren't mispronouncing it correctly.
I wasn't mispronouncing it.
Exactly.
Get it wrong, bro.
Get it wrong.
Do-Deca.
Yeah.
Do-Deca. Right, you're right. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yes.
Judo. Potato.
Yes.
The story is such a great story. I'm curious as to origins and where it kind of derived from.
Well, the Do-Deca-Pentathlon is a 25-event Olympics that two brothers who grew up down the street from us in New Orleans literally created in real life to determine who was the better athlete of the two brothers.
I think they even just called it the better brother.
The better
really
brother. It was because all there is sports. It just doesn't. I need a scoreboard to show that I'm better than you are. That was the impetus.
It's completely defining.
It is. So we were always obsessed with that thing. They did this in high school. It ended shrouded in controversy.
Okay.
The parents got involved because the beatings were getting too intense, because it was just an excuse to beat the crap out of each other.
There were a couple of hospital visits.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so Mark and I have always, ever since we were in high school, we were obsessed with these guys and this concept. And it wasn't until we kind of came up with this idea that they would reignite the Do-Deca and try and close that loop, try and finish the competition. But they're like in their mid-30s. They're out of shape. They're overweight. They have no business competing in 25 events over the course of a short weekend. And it also happens to kind of like ruin like a nice family weekend.
And just that alone would be hilarious. But you guys, you really throw in the human element into this. You take it up a lot further. And I'm curious about that. Because you could have easily been, it could have been just a farce. Two goofballs.
Yeah.
Just being idiots.
Yeah, and let's be clear. We would be very happy to see a movie that is a farce with two goofballs being idiots beating the crap out of each other.
Of course.
We love those movies.
That would be a half-hour movie.
It's a fantastic, but I would watch 3 hours of it. I love that stuff. But it's just the nature of our taste level. It's just we tend to always maybe look for the heart and look for the humanity, and we're not specifically asking these questions, but instinctually we're always looking at each other thinking, why are they like this? Where is this coming from? And what is it about the fact that these two brothers who love each other can only communicate by beating the crap out of each other? And what is that going to mean? And are they jealous of each other? Or, and that's the stuff that defines kind of the bulk of the rest of the story.
And those questions definitely came up with me. You turn it on the audience a little bit. You think you know what's going to happen, and then you obviously realize that they both wish they were the other. In a way.
Yeah, and that's definitely something that we've observed and experienced in life. Is just we're grass is greener people. We always no matter how well things are going, we're always like looking over that hill, wondering if what's going on over there is better, because it's got to be better.
I'm pretty sure your hotel room's nicer than mine.
Oh, definitely, it definitely is. And there's this weird passive game where you're just kind of peeking in the doorway.
How many pieces of chocolate did they give you?
I know. Give him 7 pieces. They must think he's more important.
Fired up.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, of course, yeah. When my dad would distribute certain things to my brother and I, it had to be, you got 5 and your brother gets 5.
That's exactly.
But, yeah, but that one's bigger.
Yeah.
That whole
exactly.
thing.
That means that you love him.
You love it more.
Yeah.
When you said 5, when you said mine, it had like a special ring to it.
Twist there.
Yeah.
And I like the blue.
Dad!
Why do you guys think that the brother relationship is so complicated? You guys obviously have a great relationship, and your communication with each other seems, very, very strong. But I know brothers that have trouble expressing emotion at all to each other.
Or even being in the same room.
Or being in the same room. Right, yeah. Well, that's
without beatings.
That goes without saying.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is. I mean, look, it's, obviously family relationships are complicated. I know some sisters who have it pretty rough, needless to say, but there's something about the resorting to brute force when no other options are available that we just find to be funny at first, and then it has that wonderful kind of sadness and resonance after the fight's over, and that's the perfect blend of comedy and drama that we really like for our movies.
Plus, brothers can't get divorced.
They cannot.
You're that dude's always going to show up at family events. He's going to be around. He's got your phone number. He's probably never ever going to leave you alone. And there's something.
And you owe him money. Clearly.
There's something really tragic and hilarious about that. That like you're stuck with this person for the rest of. And the other thing, I mean, there's millions of things about it, but your brother knows you better than anybody else. Knows the core of you better than you will even admit to yourself.
Yeah, at least
because
in our case.
They've seen it, but they've seen you grow up. They've seen all your machinations. They know all your tricks. Even your wife doesn't know all your tricks just yet. You know what I mean? It's an interesting thing.
When it came down to picking the sports, there's 25, or at least they talk about 25. What didn't make the cut? I'm curious. Do you remember?
Well, we lined them all out pretty early on in the script. And then there were a couple of things that we were very, very excited about. The True Brothers are just incredibly good at Papa-Shot basketball. And
it's not really good. They're...
glorious?
I think it might have to be reduced to mechanically perfect.
Yeah.
That I don't think that you might have to go anti-hyperbolic on it because it ceases to be a human activity. It becomes more of a computerized situation.
But basically, we there was no way that we could ask any actor to become that good at Papa-Shot as the real brothers are. So in order to remain sacred and for reverence out of the initial, the real brothers, we didn't have our actors do it.
The one thing that we did come up with, I believe, in the moment was the Indian leg wrestling.
Yeah,
that was something that we were not personally aware of.
Mark Kelly, I think, had that.
And Mark
one.
Kelly brought that to our attention.
He's got two brothers.
And we realized just how critical that it was to have two grown men interlocking their thighs and trying to flip the other one over with their thigh power.
Yeah. Hairy. Flabby. Thigh.
Hairy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was stoked that you put laser tag in there because I didn't even think it was still around anymore. So
laser tag's harder to find, but in the right suburb, behind the Bevmo, it's still there. You just gotta really look for it.
Yeah,